Hello, hello. My first day sitting at my desk. So I popped a little thing on my Facebook group and asked what can I do, because now I can work. I didn't have one single thing in my head. And collage was probably the most asked for. So I'm going to do a collage, but what I'm going to do is I'll do the collage. I'm going to use papers that are not under copyright, and I will then scan my collage. I'll put it up in my Facebook group as a freebie, and then I'll make something with the page. So thank you to everybody who has contacted me. You're all just so cute. Oh, it's just amazing. Everybody in this community, I think, is amazing. So I'm just going to start collaging, really. I don't have a huge amount of space anymore. I don't have half a craft room. I actually have just a desk again, so it's kind of gone backwards a little bit. I've still got some things on my desk that I use quite often, but I've had to do a lot of sorting and a lot of culling of things. Some things in particular I may have wanted to keep, but there just isn't the space now, because we can't have things against the wall, although the damp problem. This is a new one. Although the damp problem's sorted out, the walls are still damp. There still needs to be some drying out done. But I have a floor, so it's getting there. It's getting there. I've just got a reduced workspace. You'll probably at the moment I don't have any curtains up, so I've got a piece of I've actually got a throw chucked against the it's hanging on the hooks of the window to try and combat some of the light issue, because although it's frosty and really cold here today, it is also extremely sunny. So I've had to try and compensate, put something up against the window, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see. The other issue is I no longer have my method of holding up my my tripod-y thing. So that's now literally just attached to my desk. So I'm trying desperately not to wobble it too much. That's quite nice, isn't it? The edge of a book. I'm going to try and keep this fairly plain, so there's quite a few things that can be done with it. I think I'm going to use my art glitter glue for this. So it's been I put everything back, and then we realised that the outside wall still wasn't completely dry, so we've sorted out dehumidifier. That's going to be hopefully resolving some of the issue. I really want to use that. I shouldn't have glued that yet. Let's pop that up the top there, and then I'll try not to cover that up too much. Dehumidifier. My rib is much better. That's all sorted, and I don't, apart from all the moving around, which has caused quite a lot of dust, I'm not full of cold, so that's good. That's good news. I also have to say, and absolutely, and I can't say this enough, thank you for the contributions everyone has made to the fundraiser that I set up. It's just blown me away. It's going to go till the 21st of February, and I am going to offer everybody that has contributed, I'm going to put into a draw. It just isn't, it was an incentive, but it was also as a thank you to people that did contribute, and I did not expect anywhere near what's been raised. It's just completely amazing. But these, I was talking to my friend, it was I met my friend at the weekend and I was talking to her and I actually cried. Felt a bit of a muppet in the middle of a restaurant crying about you guys and how wonderful you all are. And that is very true. I'm not making this up. I sat in the restaurant crying, telling my friend how wonderful my supporters are and how caring everybody is. This Australia situation is absolutely devastating. And I just thought I'd set it up, and I thought, I'll put a £500 target, and I didn't expect, not in a million years, that I would achieve that target, not even by the 21st of February, let alone that same day. So it's, you guys are truly, truly amazing. And a massive thank you to that. But I think I've lost my train of thought. What I was saying is I am putting in everybody's name that has contributed into a draw for a journal, which I'm probably going to make some of the pieces for it, on a video, because now hopefully I'm not going to be constantly sniffing and sneezing. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to do a lot more videos and chatting. If I don't bore you all too much. Chatting. So you guys, fantastic. I'll pop a link to my Facebook group in the description box. I will also try and put a link to the fundraiser in the description box if anyone else is. It's for the World Wildlife Fund Australia. I have absolutely no idea what I was saying because I'd forgotten to put my phone on airplane. Somebody called. So I'm not really sure what I was talking about. It probably wasn't particularly interesting. Hopefully, I don't know. We've still got, because obviously the problems, and it's an old house. I think it's 99 years old, my house, or the house. It's not my house, it's my other half's house, but the house. So that's pretty old. It's old. And I think, it's just got to the stage where lots and lots of things need doing, as always happens with houses. And at the minute, it was just, obviously it rained in my daughter's bedroom recently, so that had to be done. And then we had a leak in the sewage drain, and that had to be done. And then it was damp, and that's had to be done. And now we have to have the back wall. It's all outside. It's all outside walls. The bathroom and the toilet need doing, and that's the next job. That's the plastering. So that's going to be fun, because obviously we will be without certain facilities while that's being sorted out. I am extremely lucky to have an absolutely amazing brother and dad, and I do really appreciate everything they've done to help us out, because it was, it's a ridiculous amount of money, absolutely ridiculous amount of money. But you're kind of tied, aren't you? Because if you don't know how to lay a damp-proof course, and I'm sure there's people out there that would probably go to YouTube, but that's not something I think I can take on. And even my dad, bless him, he's covered up an old light switch, which was a bit of a problem, and he'd plastered over it. And he said to me, all you've got to do is X, Y and Z, give it a bit of a rub down. Oh, look at that, that's really cool. This was from an old book, and this was the fly page, but this bit was what was stuck down. All you've got to do is X, Y and Z. And I was like, Dad, I can turn my hand to quite a few things, but plastering is not one of them. It's just not one of them. So bless him, he did it for me in the end, finished it off. It's just it's just crazy. It's just crazy when, you know, things like that happen. And then obviously my rib and my tooth, I've had to have some nerves removed, and I've now got to have root canal. So that's going to be a bundle of laughs. And it just, everything happens, doesn't it, at one time? And you just have to suck it up. And I was talking to Andrew about things this morning, Artie Mays. And I said I need to man up. And she agreed. She agreed with me. So I am going to take Artie Mays' advice and man up. There was something else. Oh, yeah. I was contacted by a really lovely girl this morning. And she was in, you know, she was in a bit of a state, bless her, because she felt really bad. And this is an ongoing thing. And anybody who create digitals will know. I have had another, it's just constant, another big sale to a shop, which, you know, I know my work yet again, this is the third time it's happened, is going to end up on AliExpress. But this lovely girl contacted me and said there is actually it sounds a bit like a consortium of buyers in China, and they buy up digitals and then they share them. You know, they share them amongst themselves and then they pop into their shops. And just unfortunately, you know, you get stressed and then you think, actually, what can you do about it in the scheme of things? You just have to rely on lovely people contacting you saying this is for sale. And then, to be perfectly honest, there isn't really a lot that you can do. I've contacted lots of shops to say you're selling my work, and some are very nice and remove it, and some are quite nasty and won't. But it's not just the fact they won't remove it, they're actually quite nasty about it. And, you know, there isn't any need, but I suppose that's human nature. There's lots of different people out there. So yeah, what was I saying? So thank you to everybody who has contributed to, I think that might have been what I was talking about, was it? Was that what I was talking about? Anyway, yeah. God, this is really, I'm just going on, aren't I? Everybody who contributes, I'm going to put into a drawer for the journal. So I'm going to put a link for that in the description box, the fundraiser. I'm sorry about this camera. I can't really do anything. There's just nothing gonna kind of, I didn't really need to do that, did I? What else have I got? That's quite nice. So I'm going for really neutral colours. I don't know if you've noticed. Very naturals, all naturals rather. Not very naturals, all naturals. So I'm going to probably do, I've got this as well. Now I've been kind of debating whether to use this because of the red. So I think what I might do, this is a piece of ledger that I picked up. It's from a Portuguese hotel. So we'll get a little bit of pretty type on here. I don't really know what else there is to say. But everybody in the Facebook group, everybody in the journaling community, you know, you're just an amazing bunch of guys. And I'm grateful for every one of you. I'm going to pop that there. Let's have a look. I might need a bit more plain. I've just literally pulled out, what are they called? I like this. The kind of plain pages at the front of books and the title pages, they're all really old, so they're all old enough, I should say. I have, I can't tell you how nice it is to actually do something physical. I've really enjoyed doing the digitals, but it got to the stage where I wasn't even able to really get to my desk to do that. So getting back into some creating it's just so cool. It really is. And then you just go completely blank and it's like, what am I going to make? What can I do? I think I need, let's have a little plain piece here. My board's a bit sticky now. I'm back to the glass board. The only good thing about it is I am able to have my table extended. So although I only have a desk, it is quite long, reasonably long. So I can, you know, get quite a lot of stuff on here. I do need I think I need a bit more. A bit more text. Let's see. I think that might be a bit much, so you might need to have a bit of plain, maybe. Let's see what else I have. Another piece of this. I just love these. Look at those old marks from the, and obviously the green leather has come off of my fingers. So quite like that. And then I think this will just, I'm going to have it that way. That way. There's an awesome exhibition at a local gallery. I only saw a little snippet of it and I didn't check out the artist in too much detail, but I'm going to definitely get to see it. I haven't seen an exhibition for ages. And this is, it's a photography exhibition. And it's microscopic plants, and there are also fungi, and I don't like that flat edge. Fungi, microscopic plants. I can't remember what else was. It looks really cool, so I'm gonna pop along to that. It's not very often we get a local exhibition that really interests me. And I'm supposed to be doing a trip with my friend Rach to London very soon. Neither of us are particularly good travellers, so we kind of said, let's do it in January. And back in October, when it seemed like such a long time away, didn't seem like a bad idea. But now it's got a bit closer. I'm getting a bit nervous about the whole thing. Unfortunately the sun has moved around a little bit, but I cannot unhook, there's just nowhere else for me to hook my throw that I've put up against the window. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scan this very plain page. Okay, and then I'm going to come back and work on it a little bit more, and then I'll scan it again. So there'll be two different kind of versions in the Facebook group, because this is a really kind of plain background that'll be good for tags and things to add to it. You know, it's nothing special, but it's a good start. So I'm going to scan this, and then I'll be back and we'll work on it a little bit more. Okay, so I've scanned it. I think this is, you know, it's dried quite nicely as well, actually, quite quickly. I'm just going to add a few extra bits to this now to just give it some interest and a possible, you know, more uses, I suppose. There's lots of things you can do with a plain page like this, but sometimes it's nice to have things. And again, these are still all things from my stash that are out of copyright. This paper is so fragile. This book is exceptionally old. And what I do is when I use a book, I kind of have a little box that I put into put copyright-free items in, so I know if I want to use them in a collage, I'm safe to, just as a way of separating things. And I do think people need to be aware, you know, if you're making a collage for a background, if you've used items in that background that are not copyright-free, then you can't just scan them and reuse them. I don't think a lot of people actually know that. Let's see. Grabbing from my little box. I've got a few other little bits here. Okay, let me think about what. That's a nice big space there, isn't it? That's quite. Okay. If you're using copyright-free stuff to make a collage, it is quite a good idea to scan it part way through, so you can, you know, if something goes wrong, once you've got the background layers on, if something goes wrong, you've then got the option to rework it, if you like, to have a do-over. Okay, something like that. Right, what else have I got? Got a little box of bits here. Most of these, you see, that's my label, so I know I can use that on here. That will be perfectly okay. And I'm not sure if I want a bit of red. I'll think about it. Oh, sorry, didn't realise I was slightly off camera there. I have a tiny version of a tea card, one of my tea cards. Now again, you know, when you're using bits and pieces, if you've created them, then absolutely, if you're going to give your item away, you can do that if it's something you've created, but you can't use other people's work in things that you intend to give away. It's just trying to find. I quite like that bee. Might take the bee off the thingy. Okay, let's have a little think. I've also got a tag. So I've got a lot of boxes of bits and pieces that I can't pull out anymore. I used to be able to, but I can't do that now. So I'm just doing this off. I'm not sure that I like the edge of that. I've got some tags. Okay, that's plain. Okay, that's. Oh, and my chair. I don't know what's happened to it, but it's become extremely squeaky. It's a very squeaky chair. Pants. very squeaky chair. Okay, now that's possible. That's a possible. That's a bit, don't know, that's a bit bright, isn't it? So I've just got another little tag that I'm turning into a bit more of a tag shape. The hole wasn't perfect. Let me just think that now. I think I'm also gonna, I want a bit of string in here. So let me just cut this string off this tag. And I'm gonna add this. I'm really sorry about the probably quite uncohesive conversation that I was having at the beginning. It's again that whole like, it was, I don't know, it was a little bit difficult even plucking up the nerve to start filming, to be perfectly honest. And then you feel like, I'm not sure about that, and then you feel like you've got to do it, and if you don't do it, you never will. But I'm sure, you know, I've said this so many times, but I'm going to be back a little bit more often. And I think now certain things are resolved, it probably will happen. So it's not going to feel like that every time I try to film. I was talking to another very good friend of mine this morning that said, you know, they said they did a 2-minute video today. They haven't put it up yet, but they did a 2-minute video today just to make sure they could remember how to do it. Because once you get into the habit of not doing video frequently, it is very difficult to get back into it. There we go. So now, I'm not sure about the red one. I do want this. I think I want it there. I'm going to use a stronger glue for this, or not Pritt stick. And I'm not worried if this is not perfectly glued down, because this is a prototype. I may well use it for tags in the future, but I do prefer to use a digital version because you can then still add things to it if you wanted to use it as a background. Although this has become a little bit more than just a background now, isn't it? I suppose. So yeah, bathroom and the toilet is the next job in the house. I can't remember which way that went up now. Was it upright? Might have been upright. Oh. I've got very sticky hands and I had a hair stuck to my finger. Okay, so I'm not sure if I want that or not. I definitely need some kind of something to balance, I think. Let me see if I've got another no, I'm going to use this. I am going to use this, I think. Whoops. Collage seems to take so long. I used to be quite quick at it. And I think, you know, if you're just doing a background, you don't want to think too much. Maybe you do just want to pop things down. But when you're filming, it's a bit more, got to get it right. Got to get it right. I'm going to put that upside down. I like to be able to use things in all kind of orientations, not necessarily one way. I forgot how gluey your fingers get when you collage. Okay, that one there. I'm going to put this at the top. And I do want to cover up that plain plain bit there. Okay. I think I need a label over here somewhere just to balance the other label. And I'm still pretty neutral in colours, so I'm not sure I am going to add that poppy. Not sure at all. Okay, so sorry, I'm just not sure if that's going to be too heavy now. I think just a little bit of ink there. Oh, even though I've moved that light, it's coming back round. There's not a lot I can, there's just no getting away from it. No, I'm not going to use the bee. I've just torn that for nothing. Let me trim this again and see what we have. It does amaze me that you guys actually want to watch what I do. It really does. Talk gobbledygook most of the time. I find it quite difficult to stay focused on anything, conversation included. Okay, and now I have these that have come from these came from the spine of an old book. And I just feel like it needs to be loved, needs to be given a home. I use this kind of thing quite often, especially in digital kits and things, because it's just so cute. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I think I'm going to put a tiny amount of glue stick there. Just lay that down. And then I'm just going to do some of the edges with the glitter glue, just to make sure that kind of stays in place. I'll just have to give this a few minutes to dry before I scan it. I also have this little piece which was binding the pages together. I'm sorry, excuse me. That's the dust from the book that I've used. I love this old tape. I do try and salvage it wherever I can out of the books. Okay, where? There. The last thing I have is a piece of really old vintage tape. I'm not sure that's really gonna work as I go over the label, maybe, or over the top there. Yep, top there, I think. And this is going to be the only straight edge. I mean, this tape is ridiculously old. I've scanned some of this to go in a kit I'm working on at the moment. Okay, I think I'm going to call that a day. There is quite a lot going on now. But that's the good thing. If I look at it after I've scanned it and I don't like it, it's fine, because I've got the previous version. I think when that's flat, that's going to make a pretty cool page. Obviously got a little blob of ink here, which what I'll do is I'll Photoshop that out, and I'll also clean up that label. That's another bonus of being able to alter things when you've done them, make them digital. Okay, so I'm not quite sure whether I'm just going to scan this and then pop the video up, or whether I'm going to scan it and then do the video of me making something with the page. We will see. We'll see how the scanning goes. But if I'm not back at the end of this video, then I will be back with another one. And thank you for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.